makes progress.
This is the new mob. This is the new mafia.
Well, they are a crime family. Chivarella and Conahan, all by their lonesome selves, they indeed shape a crime family. The old days, it was La Cosa Nostra. Maybe they'll call themselves the La Courthouse Nostra.
You're right. And,
Anger fills the airways. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania explodes when people hear that men they elected and trusted to judge their children had profited off their incarceration, sent the kids to a private jail owned by cronies who bribed the judges. Prosecutors say they were in cahoots to then keep the jail filled with children who did not belong there. Talk radio host Steve Corbett.
Gangster judges were selling children into a prison camp. Where were the protectors of the kids at that time?
I think that we had a conspiracy of silence going on in Luzerne County.
Marcia Levick, the public interest lawyer who helped break the case.
There were officers of the court, there were members of the district attorney's office, members of probation, private lawyers, public defenders who were in the courtroom every day, and they had to know what was happening, and whether it was by virtue of intimidation or an unwillingness to get involved, the fact remains that nobody stood up.
In fact, parents say some of the court workers wrongly convinced them their children did not need lawyers.
And they basically said that, you know, I'm just going to get a slap on the wrist, that I shouldn't waste money on a lawyer.
Jamie Quinn was 14 when she was sent to Judge Mark Chivarella because of an after-school fight.
Did you hurt her badly? Did she have to go to the hospital?
No.
Was she injured?
No. I honestly expected that I was going to get lectured and get probation at the worst. And it was my first time ever in front of a judge. He didn't let me talk. I was literally in front of him for only like 4 minutes. He barely even looked at me. All I remember is my mom grabbed onto my hand and hugged me. And then they put my hands behind my back, handcuffed me, and took me right away.
Matt Klubeck did come to court with an attorney when he faced Judge Chivarella.
I had my dad's attorney representing me, but the judge told my dad's attorney that he was not able to represent me, so...
So you had an attorney, but he said no.
Right. I didn't get to tell any of my story.
Matt had been charged with assault after throwing a beefsteak during a family argument.
I was very surprised when I was being led out of the room in shackles.
But while the kids were languishing in juvenile jail, their judges spent their dirty money 1,000 miles south from chilly Wilkes-Barre in Jupiter, Florida, an enclave for the rich and famous, near the homes of Tiger Woods and Celine Dion. Here at the Jupiter Marina and Yacht Club, an exclusive gated community, the judges partnered in a waterfront condo. Now up for sale, worth more than $750,000. One of their cronies docked his 56-foot yacht, the Real Justice, here in Slip 50, now empty. We wanted to ask Judge Chivarella about all these charges, but he refused to be interviewed, so we went to him.
Hello, Judge. I'm Jim Avila from ABC News 2020. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Hang on, I'll call you back.
You know, a lot of people are wondering how a man of such distinction like yourself could have gotten in so much trouble and sold these kids down the river.
Well, let's stop right there. Didn't sell any kids down the river.
I showed him in black and white what the U.S. Attorney attorney had charged that he sentenced kids for cash.
It's not what you think it means. Go talk to the juvenile people in Luzerne County and you will understand what that means.
This doesn't mean that you got improper money for placing juvenile offenders into PA childcare.
Yes, that's what it says. We came to a plea agreement because we would never agree that that was improper. And that's why in the plea agreement, you don't see any of that language. I'm not pleading guilty to anything relative to cash for kids, embezzlement, extortion, quid pro quo. Absolutely not.
You didn't take any time with these kids. You didn't let them have an attorney.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. So what happens in juvenile court is there's a whole intake process. And based upon that intake process, information is provided to the intake people. They're the ones that make the recommendations to me as to where the child should be placed. And based on that information, I place that child, or I don't place that child, depending upon what they want to do.
Now, we've talked to several kids in your community.
I was literally in front of him for only like 4 minutes.
I never was able to speak.
And they all had 30-second court hearings like me.
And what they describe as to what happened in your courtroom is pretty amazing.
You take a look at their file and you look to see if this was the first time they had a run-in with the law. Might have been the first time they were in front of me. You may be surprised that it's not going to be as clear-cut as they would like you to think.
Are you seeing that to be true?
No.
In fact, Judge Arthur Grimm of Pennsylvania juvenile judge himself, now assigned to review Judge Chivarella's cases, has seen just the opposite.
That kids were in there for relatively minor first-time offenses and ended up being placed. The judge is incorrect.
And what of Chivarella's rapid-fire justice?
Is that the way the juvenile system is supposed to work?
No, it's not the way it's supposed to work. I'm seeing cases which seem to take in the neighborhood of 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. That simply is not the way to do business. It doesn't happen in 3 minutes.
And what about Chivarella's claim that his trials were so short because he looked at the intake people's reports first and followed their lead?
The day of the hearing or the day of the admission, it's already determined what's going to happen.
Judge Grimm says that's exactly backwards. Hear the case, then read the sentencing recommendations.
You have no business reading those reports. You don't want to be tainted by somebody else's impression of a child. You want to try the case based on the facts.
The two corrupt judges have pled guilty to being secretly on the tape. And now the state Supreme Court, just yesterday, authorized Judge Grimm to begin healing the wounds of the children whose rights he found were routinely violated by expunging the records of as many as 5,000 children sent away to juvenile jail by Judge Chivarella, many of whom have taken their cases to the Juvenile Law Center for a massive civil suit.
I felt like I was branded as something. I was in jail as a freshman in high school, so I never went back to school.
So now at 19, instead of being in college, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Eric is back in school and hoping to get his driver's license.
You're not going to do nothing wrong, are you?
No.
No.
But like Joel, he's had trouble adjusting.
I don't talk to anybody. I don't have many friends because I can't trust a lot of people.
Matt works after school at a restaurant, but dreams of joining the Air Force after college.
That's what I really want to do. I want to be able to fly jets.
It's a hobby that takes him away from the troubled memory of jail at 14.
And that helped a lot because when I'm flying the planes, I'm in control of everything. Nothing else matters.
Still, Matt fears his conviction may keep him out of the Air Force. As for Jamie's dream,
right now I'm still in high school. I graduate this year, and I want to study criminal justice.
and just recently, Jamie picked up her college application.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you, James.
So you're going to study criminal justice in hopes of improving the system?
Yes. I've seen a lot of bad stuff happen. It makes me really question people who we're supposed to trust. I don't want it to ever happen again.
We've seen corruption cases around the country in every state. What's different about this case that concerns you?
It's kids. Yeah. I'm sorry. It really, damn it. It really upsets me because it's on the back of kids. And that's unfair. Kids are malleable, but you know, talk about a bad lesson.